So good morning, students. In this video, we shall continue our lesson further. Okay. In the previous video, we had discussed about pulses, and now in this video, we shall discuss about our topic, that is food crops other than grains. Remember one thing: food crops other than grains. We shall discuss about this chapter. Okay. So please take out your books, and we shall continue further. Okay. Now, students, first of all, write on the question. What is meant by the term? What is meant by the term food crops other than grains? Please write on the question. And you will not find the answer in your book. You have to write it yourself. I will tell you what is the answer. But first of all, write the question. Food crops. What is meant by the term food crops other than grains? Now, students, we can understand it with the name, with the title, that the crops that are consumable, but those are not in the form of grains. ऐसी क्रॉप्स जिनको हम लोग खाने में यूज करते हैं पर वो दानों की शेप में नहीं. Such type of crops are known as food crops other than grains. Is that clear? The crops that are eatable, that are consumable, but these are not in the form of grains. Such type of crops are known as food crops other than grains. Is that clear? Now, the best example, the first example in this crop is sugarcane. You can take the example of sugarcane. Why we are taking the example of sugarcane? Because sugarcane is a consumable crop. Sugarcane is an eatable crop, but we do not find it in the form of grains. Is that clear? That is why we are taking the example of sugarcane. So please look at here, sugarcane. But first of all, sugarcane is such type of crop that is found both in tropical areas as well as in the subtropical areas, because the areas that are near the equator and the areas that are slightly far away from the equator, tropical and subtropical, we find sugarcane in both of these areas. So that is why this is one of the very few crops that can be grown very easily in tropical areas as well as in the subtropical areas. Okay. Next, number 2, it requires hot and humid climate. इसको गर्म तापमान चाहिए. It requires hot and humid climate and also the temperature of 21 to 27 degrees Celsius. Is that clear? It requires the temperature of temperature that is 21 to 27 degrees Celsius and hot and humid climate. Also, very important point, this one. It is a labor intensive crop. It is a labor intensive crop. In other words, we will say that it is a crop that requires a lot of manual power. It is a crop that requires a lot of manual power to be grown, as well as for harvesting, as well as for transporting. Why I am saying so? A question लिख लो, write down the question. Why we say that sugarcane is a labor intensive crop. Why we say that sugarcane is a labor intensive crop? और करके लिखो बच्चों. Why sugarcane is also known as a bulky crop. Why sugarcane is also known as a bulky crop? Now बेटा देखो, अभी we shall discuss only this point now. This point, labor intensive crop. Just this point. Why sugarcane is called a labor intensive crop or a bulky crop? Because we all know that it is not in the form of grains. It is not in the form of grains. That is why while harvesting this crop, we need a lot of manpower, and also to transport this crop, we need a lot of manpower as well as various modes of transportation, so that we can transport this crop from fields to the market. Is that clear? Because it is not very easy. It is not very easy to transport this crop. So therefore, we are calling it a labor intensive crop. We are calling it a bulky crop. Because unlike other crops, suppose we take the example of wheat and rice. It is not such type of bulky crop. ठीक है ना? उसके दाने छोटे होते हैं. But it is not in the form of grains. ये दानों की शेप में है ही नहीं. तो इसीलिए इसको हार्वेस्टिंग करना as well as to transport this crop, it is not an easy task. So that is why we are calling it a bulky crop. Also, we are calling it a labor intensive crop. Is that clear? Next point. The major producers of this crop are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, these are the major sugarcane producing states of India. Now we all know that sugarcane is a crop that is used in the sugar industry. So this crop also works as the raw material for the sugar industry. Is that clear? Sugarcane is the major raw material, is the main raw material for the sugar industry. And these are the major states. These are the major states that produces the sugarcane. And if you see properly, then you will find that most of the sugar mills are can be seen in these type of states of India. These states. Why sugar mills are located here? देखो, why sugar mills are located here? Because Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bihar, these states are the major sugarcane producing states, and sugar is a bulky crop. It is not very easy to transport this crop. So therefore, most of the sugar mills are located in these states so that they can easily be harvested from the fields and can easily be transported to the factories so that they can extract sugar from it. So that is the major reason that most of the sugar mills are found in these states of India. A question, write down one question. Why most of the sugar mills are located in the states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar? ये लिखो question. Why most of the sugar mills in India are located in the states of UP and Maharashtra? For 3 marks. Is that clear, Bacho? So this was the information about sugarcane, which is a food crop, but it is not in the form of grains. That is why we are calling it food crop, but other than grains, जो कि दानों की शेप में नहीं है, दानों की फॉर्म में नहीं. Is that clear? Okay. Now, next topic. So this was about sugarcane. Next topic is oil seeds. Please make another heading, that is oil seeds. I'm going to rub it now. Okay, but the next topic is oil seeds. Now, again the food crop other than grains. पहले मैं इसका एग्जांपल दूं. For example, you take the example of sunflower, groundnut, okay, till, okay, coconut, this is the example of oil seeds. अब है क्या, what are oil seeds? देखो बेटा, the crops that are used to extract the edible oil are known as the crops of oil seeds. ऐसी crops जिनमें से हम लोग खाने वाला तेल निकालते हैं, ऐसा तेल जिसको हम लोग कुकिंग में यूज करते हैं. such type of crops are known as oil seeds. Example coconut oil, example sunflower oil, example groundnut oil, till oil. ये सारी चीजें, इनसे हम क्या करते हैं, we extract the edible oil, and that edible oil is used in cooking. So that is why this crop of oil seeds is used as a food crop, but it is again not in the form of grains. Correct? Food crops other than grains. It is not in the form of grains, but it is a food crop. We are extracting the oil and using that oil in our cooking. So that is why again oil seeds are the food crops that are other than grains. Is that clear? Sure. Now we take the example of oil seeds. This was the example of oil seeds. Please write it down and note these points: sunflower, groundnut, till, coconut, and all this. Okay. Now, but I want to tell you one thing very important, that India is the largest producer of oil seeds in the world. India is the largest producer of oil seeds in the world. Now, but remember one thing. We are the largest producers of oil seeds. Okay, we agree that we are the largest producers, but we still import the crop of oil seeds. Now the question arises, if we are the largest producer of the oil seeds in the whole world, then why we have the need to import these crops, import these oil seed crops? Why should not we export it if we are the largest producers? The reason is, yes, we are the largest producers, but we have also a very huge population. We have a very huge population. That's why to feed all that population, to fulfill the requirement of all that population, we have to import oil seeds. That is the major reason. We grow oil seeds, okay, in a large quantity, but that quantity is not sufficient. That quantity is not sufficient to feed the whole population of this country, the huge population of this country. That is the major reason. To fulfill the demand of all the population of India, we have to import oil seeds. Despite the fact that we are the largest producers of oil seeds in the whole world, still we have to import. This is the major reason. This was the case of, we have seen in the case of pulses also. We are one of the largest producers of pulses, but still we have to import the pulses. Why? Because we have to fulfill the demand of the whole of population of India. We are not growing it in the sufficient quantity so that we can fulfill the demand of whole of India. So that's why we have to import pulses also. Same is the case of oil seeds. We are the largest producers, but not growing in the sufficient quantity. That is why we have to import oil seeds. That is why we have to import the edible oil also. Is that clear? Okay. Number two is, bacho, the main oil seeds that are produced in India. Yes, I have given you the examples. Okay, coconut, that can be made as the second point. Coconut, sunflower, sesame, til, groundnut, all these. Okay, these are the examples of oil seeds. We extract the edible oil from this and then use this edible oil in our cooking. Okay, next, number 3. Some of the oil. This oil is also used in cosmetic industry. For example, take the example of coconut oil. This can be also used in the cosmetic industry. Like hair oil, like hair oil and all these things, for making soaps. So we also use it in this industry. Next, number 4. Now, major states, please write down the major states that produce oil seeds. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, all these southern states. Okay, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, all these southern states. These are the major producer of oil seeds in India. Okay, also if we take the example of Karnataka and the ground. Okay, take the example of groundnut. Okay, groundnut. This is a kharif crop. Okay, it is a kharif crop. It is a kharif crop which is mostly grown in the areas having more rainfall. So we have taken the example of groundnut here. We have also seen the example of coconut. I have told you about coconut that is used in the cosmetic industry also. So this was the information about oil seeds. Okay? Again the food crops that are other than grains. Oilseeds are again the food crops we use to consume them, but these are not in the form of grains. That is food crops other than grains. Is that clear, bachcho? Next, now I'm rubbing it together. I think you have noted down. If you haven't still noted, then you can pause the video and you can note it down. I'm rubbing all this now. Next example is bachcho, tea. Here is the example of beverage crops. Beverage crops. Okay. In beverage crops, we are first taking the example of tea. Now write down the question. What are beverage crops? Please write down the question. What are beverage crops? लिख लो इसका आंसर भी. Write down the answer also. The crops that are used. The crops that are used for adding taste in our eatables are known as beverage crops. Very good examples are tea and coffee. Now I think you have understood. ठीक है बच्चों, ऐसी क्रॉप्स जिनको हम लोग सिर्फ टेस्ट के लिए अपने ईटेबल्स में डालते हैं. इट इज नॉट वेरी नेसेसरी टू कंज्यूम दिस क्रॉप्स. सपोज आई एम नॉट यूजिंग टी, आई एम नॉट यूजिंग कॉफी, आई एम जस्ट हैविंग द मिल्क. तो इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी टू यूज टी एंड कॉफी, बट स्टिल आई एम यूजिंग टी एंड कॉफी बिकॉज आई हैव टू एड टेस्ट इन माई मिल्क. So such type of crops that are used to add taste in our eatables are known as beverage crops. Okay, so we shall take the example of tea, and we shall further take the example of coffee. Now tea, we all know that tea is mostly grown in the northeastern states of India, especially in Assam. Okay, so now we shall see what are the requirements for the tea cultivation. But first of all, tea is mostly grown in the areas having heavy rainfall. Because it requires heavy rainfall. Secondly, hot climate. ठीक है जी, ये आमतौर पे उन एरियाज में उगाई जाती है जहां पर ज्यादा रेनफॉल होती है. ऑल्सो इसको इट रिक्वायर्स हॉट क्लाइमेट. नंबर थ्री, mostly an labor intensive crop. This is also a very labor intensive crop. Why I am saying so? Because the tea plantations are very large in size. Tea plantations can never be very small in size. These should be very large in size. And if these are very large in size, then this means that it requires a lot of labor to grow and to harvest this crop. Especially this, and this is a plantation crop. Please remember this. This is a plantation crop. Yeah, the plantation. Plantation crop. ठीक है जी, because it is in the form of plants. Okay, we grow it in the form of plants, so that is why we are calling it plantation crop. So mostly a labor intensive crop, and the tea plantations are very large in size, so that's why it requires a lot of labor here. Also number 4, tea is the crop that can mostly be grown in the areas having hot climate as well as more rainfall. Yes, mostly grows in subtropical regions. Please write down, mostly grown in subtropical regions. Please write down. Subtropical regions. And next, number 5, Yes. Please write down number 5, Bicho. Major states: Assam. Next, hills of West Bengal. Also, in south, that is Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Number 6. Number 6. In Karnataka, it is mostly grown. In Karnataka, it is mostly grown in the Baba Budan Hills. Mostly grown in the Baba Budan Hills. And you can write further 7th point also that I want to tell you that can be useful for your information. Number 7. India is the largest producer of tea in the whole world. You can write it also. India is the largest producer of tea. In the world. India is the largest producer of tea in the whole world. So this was the information about the about the crop of tea, which is in the form of plantations. Is that clear? Next. And also it is a beverage crop, and again the food crop other than grains. Okay, bacho? It is in the form of, because it is in the form of plantations and not in the form of grains. Okay, so next, second point of these beverage crops, coffee. Please note it down, and I'm noting it down. Okay. Coffee. देखो बच्चों, India again is one of the largest producers of coffee. You can write down first point also. India is one of the largest producers of coffee. Next, number 2, mostly grown in the tropical regions. In tropical regions. Next, number 3. देखो बेटा, number 3 is the coffee produced in India is of Arabic coffee. Now, why it is called Arabic, I will tell you. The coffee plantations were first brought in India by the Britishers. Coffee is not the indigenous crop or endemic crop of India. It is brought by the Britishers in India from the Arab world, especially from the state of Oman in Yemen. Yes, it is in Yemen, the country of Yemen, from Yemen. So Yemen is in Arab world. You know it very well. Okay? So that is why the coffee that is mostly grown in India is known as Arabic coffee. Okay? Because it is brought from Yemen and then grown in India by the Britishers. So that's why Yemen coffee is mostly grown in India, and that is one of the very famous crops or very famous coffee in the whole world. And we grow it in a large quantity, and India is again a very large producer of coffee in the whole world. Is that clear? So this was the short information of about the crops that are food crops other than grains. We shall discuss further in our next video about the horticulture crops and some other crops of India. So thank you so much. I hope you have learned it very well. Please revise this and write down the answers of all those questions. If you have any doubt, you can send me your answers, your questions in your group. I will send you the answers. Is that clear? Thank you. Thank you so much.